2018's Annihilation sits as one of the most poignant takes on the cosmic horror genre in recent times. Its masterful adaptation of Jeff Vandermeer's 2014 novel of the same name follows a group of scientists' exploration into an area that appears to mutate its natural life into unearthly creatures and landscapes. I say poignant of recent years because many attempts have failed to capture the same sense of dread that the horror soundscape of the genre's most iconic predecessors have. Alex Garland's feature has been well received by contemporary fans of the Lovecraftian style, which I'll explore now. Genre-defining Alien of 1979 and The Thing 1982 adopt largely subtle approaches in scoring horror, employing largely dissonant elements as risers and relying on impactful sound design to act in place of a typical musical crescendo. Whereas in Annihilation, the main theme by Ben Salisbury and Jeff Barrow enforces a highly dynamic and almost hypnotic use of pitch-bending synths, the non-diegetically follows the on-screen presence of the score's namesake, the alien. The effect of this motif can be examined along Shion's idea that cinema prefers the symbol, the emblematic sound over the sound of reality, allowing a more abstract concept of the horrors that be, and frames the threat as a far more ambiguous and unpredictable entity in terms of its intentions. In addition, a non-diegetic soundtrack playing over scenes of the protagonist in her home establishes a sense of warmth and comfort. This empathetic sound creates a strong acoustic contrast that helps us recognize the hostility of her environment later in the film when the alien theme appears. As Jorgen Byrne in Heidi Hart state, Annihilation reflects a sense that humankind's home planet is becoming uncanny and disorientating. So sonically, rather than building a sense of otherworldliness as Alien and The Thing did, Annihilation attempts to skew that which already seems familiar. To support this idea, we'll examine the bear scene. The sound of the bear mimics the tones and the screams of a human voice. However, the effects applied work to make the visuals so much more horrifying. The layering of multiple takes of both human screams and several different animals balances the uncanny nature beautifully, as again our human tones have been warped into something scarily unrecognizable via what sounds like hybrid vocalization, an extension of the uncanny that Shion explores through his idea of altered voices. The most striking and memorable examples are not technical, but rather those in which a strong link has been created between the voice and the body, the voice and the face. It's in this relationship that something can emerge, and not in the voice taken in isolation. This helps to create new associations which are often unsettling between the physicality and the sound, and makes the voice both fascinating and terrifying in its capacity to evoke something beyond the human. To further expand on the scene's other elements, the arrival of the bear is purely acousmatic, adding to the unknown nature of the creature, which works well due to the ambiguity of the multi-layered growl that precedes it.
You are.
As Shion adds, the opposite between the visualized and acousmatic provides a basis for the fundamental audiovisual notion of off-screen space, allowing sound to dictate the danger of the space and create the horror independent of visuals, which leads me to my next point. The initial growl serves as a stinger to violently transition the viewer into the diegetic room tone and cut away from the subtle ambient synth pad that has built tension to this point. Now sonically adopting a null extension to put the audience in the same danger as our characters. Skipping ahead somewhat, we hear our protagonist Lisa say,
Don't react.
The decision to strip away ambient scoring becomes more than just a creative choice. Now sonically, the audience is put in the same danger as our characters, a use of diegesis that Boardwell reinforces is to represent what a character is thinking. Furthermore, the synthesis of these elements helps establish psychological horror aspects. The sound design of the bear challenges the audience's expectations of the threat, as although the audible and visual components don't necessarily belong together, they are here. This reinforces the world building as a whole, as the bear embodies the environment's ability to mutate and distort life. All of these mentions serve as perfect executions of psychoacoustics. The sound designers Niv Adri, Ben Barker, and Glenn Fiedelman have used these audible techniques to shift the tone and dictate an entirely new mood to the scenes and subsequent horrors leading into the final act.